कुछ नहीं हुआ है, 5 years हो गए अभी तक कुछ नहीं हुआ है, 10 years हो गए हैं, Zomato is not making profit, 6 years हो गए हैं, Policy Bazaar is not making profit. So these are all in startups. But the point is, in micro, you're taking large and large and large steps every day. But in macro, you have to be patient. You have to be very patient with your steps, with your things, with yourself, with your team, with your co-founders, with your employees. So hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and you're watching Tushar Pahari, that is me, and obviously you gotta start somewhere. This is for the YouTube channel because this is gonna be a podcast where I'm gonna be talking about how you can start up and how age is not a factor for that, which a lot of people think about, that age is a factor for that. So before we dive into the podcast thing, so I wanna just shout out to my YouTube subscriber, that is around 10 or 20, 12 around at this moment. So if you're watching this video, you've started this video now, watch till the end because it's a podcast. It will help you, it will obviously inspire you to do something new in your life right now, and obviously you can turn your passion into something that is called a business or a firm, and I think you like for that case. So let's start the podcast, and as I'm gonna try to reach out to my other audiences on different platforms like Spotify, LinkedIn, Facebook, and even on Twitter, and a lot of other podcast series will be there for the case. So welcome back to this episodes of the podcast, and this will be a podcast series that will be primarily concentrating on how you can start up, how you can turn your passion into something called a business. Obviously we all know what business is all about, and so if you're listening to this podcast, do subscribe to whatever the button is there, hit that up and listen to this podcast. I'll be very grateful if you listen to this. I'm just gonna start right now, and over on LinkedIn, I guess people in LinkedIn will actually appreciate this one a lot, so a big shout out to LinkedIn as well. So okay, let's start and let's dive into different aspects of it. So the first thing that comes in our mind is starting up. Well, this is a word, startup, and a startup word has been all around, for a buzz for last 3-4 years. Not last 3-4 years, it's been around 5-6 years now. So we were in college around 2012 or 13 or 14 or 15. A lot of batches came out. So we all know what startup is all about. We're turning an idea into a business. Most of the young guys are trying to do this stuff. So yes, a lot of people in the back are also doing it. For example, people are turning their passion into business around when they're 50 or they're 40. So this is the case with startup. So Indian government is also looking to double down on this thing. So whether the previous government has been or this government has been working on it, so that's a great boost to the startup ecosystem, I would say. So one thing I just want to clear up is that this whole podcast series or even the video series will be in bilingual. That is, first the English language I will be using. Most of the people will not be comfortable in listening to that, so I'll be using Hindi as well. So वो भी थोड़ा बढ़िया रहेगा क्योंकि ज़्यादातर जो audiences हैं वो हिंदी में भी सुनना चाहते हैं. So that's a good thing. We can use mixed of the language, and that's fine. So let's dive it. So I'm actually breaking this thing into age factor, into age breakups rather, I would say. So पहला पार्ट हम ले रहे हैं कि मान लीजिए आप you're around 15 to 25. So a lot of people are starting up in 15 as well. So that's why I'm taking 15 as a lower limit of the age where people are thinking to start up, and 25 is always in the hot zone for many of the startups. If you see the whole history of startups, people in their 20s are making the unicorns the most. Now breaking down to the upper level, 25 to 35, and then 35 to 45. and then so on. So a lot of people have been successful when they were in 50s and they started their startups. For example, legendary KFC, McDonald's, a lot of restaurant startups have been built by those, those who are in 50s or 60s. So it's not just a barrier. Age is not a barrier for this thing. That is what I'm trying to emphasize on. So this is my take. Your take will be different because I'm support different situations में हैं अभी भी. For example, I'm in a situation. I've taken this thing. Obviously, this podcast series, this video series. I'm doing a lot of things at this moment. Printmate, T-Hash, Travel and Pepper. You will know about it how these things are going around me and I'm going around these things. So age is not a factor, that's the point. So when you're in 15, obviously you're around, if you're in India or somewhere around, even in the world, other parts of the world, you're in your high school, you're in 9th, you're in 10th or 11th class mein ho, 12th class mein ho, or probably going into college when you're 15 to 25 or getting out of a college. So that's the basic people's category here, 15 to 25. So what are the problems actually for them? I just want to discuss that thing. So even the listeners in Spotify and LinkedIn, a lot of people in LinkedIn are there. They're actually they're actually working in a lot of firms. Those are startups. So startups have always been boosting employment at the end. So that's a good thing. So let's say you're 15 or in mid 15 to 20, in between them 16, 17, and you just out of school and you're just entering into a college, but you got an idea. Obviously you got an idea. और startup founders के साथ क्या होता है, when you got an idea, अब चुल मची होती है कि अब आगे क्या करें इस चीज़ का. So what do? You get to a friend. I've done the same thing. I got an idea, I got to a friend, I discussed it about it. So I discussed about how it can be planned, कैसे इसे execute कर सकते हैं, and how it gonna make money at the end. Obviously, when you get into a startup, when you get into a business, money becomes a temporary thing because in first few years you get to get those grind in, you get to go get those hustle in, because without hustle, without grind, without doing stuffs every day, without moving an inch every day, you're not gonna make anything in those years. First 3 to 5 years, 2 years, 5 years, people will say, and people will always say, in most 5 years of your starting part, 99% of the startups will perish. And that's the case, that's the rate of it. So जितना बड़ा रिवॉर्ड है उतने लोग इससे पिछड़ते भी जाते हैं. That's the point. So you get to a friend, you discuss a lot about it, and then make a plan, rough sheet. मैंने क्या करा था, रफ कॉपी ली और उसमें सब स्टार्टिंग कर दिया कि हाँ ये इतने फिगर्स है, ये फिगर्स हैं, ये सारे हमारे प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, एंड वी कैन डबल डाउन ऑन दिस, हम ये कर सकते हैं, वो कर सकते हैं, दीज आर द मार्केट्स, दीज आर द रेवेन्यूज. बट रियली व्हेन यू एग्जीक्यूटेड, इट इज़ द डिफरेंस. ज़मीन आसमान का अंतर फर्क होता है. एंड दैट्स द पॉइंट आई एम गोना मेक इन दिस पॉडकास्ट कि it's good we're starting up. There is an age barrier, what people thinks. We're gonna break that. But we enter the part of starting up when you're in your first year, when you're in second year, when you're third year. Like me, I'm in third year of my whole career in this thing, and then fourth year, then the 5th year, then the 6th year. Obviously there will be times कि किसी ने first year में है और उसने बहुत बड़ा startup बना लिया. Might be a crazy idea, जिसके पीछे VCs थे, जिसके पीछे whole market was. That was the need of the novel. That executed and it happened. But most of the time it's not gonna happen like that way. So what you need to do is slow down your processes. In micro, you have to move fast. That is, every day you have to make decisions. You have to take up steps every time to improve whatever जो भी दिक्कत आ रही है या कोई भी चीज़ आप स्कूल तक जाना चाहते हैं. But when you get to the macro scale of it, what people say it कि 3 साल हो गए हैं और अभी तक कुछ नहीं हुआ है, 5 years हो गए अभी तक कुछ नहीं हुआ है, 10 years हो गए हैं, Zomato is not making profit, 6 years हो गए हैं, Policy Bajar is not making profit. So these are all in startups. But the point is, In micro, you're taking large and large and large steps every day. But in macro, you have to be patient. You have to be very patient with your steps, with your things, with yourself, with your team, with your co-founders, with your employees, with your customers as well. Because they will be memories that लेंस कार्ड है और वो आपको क्रेडिट दे रही है चश्मा खरीदने के लिए, आपको मैसेज आता है 1000 रुपीज़ आपको क्रेडिट हो गया. That's a marketing gimmick. I mean, customers आएंगे, वो कहेंगे what is this thing, memes बनेंगे. But in the end, to the lens card team who's trying to make a step, who's trying to do something new, कुछ तो क्लिक करेगा. That's the point. You do each and everything that is, कुछ भी आपके माइंड में आता है, you try to execute it every day, and that should be the thought process. Nobody is losing here. You're just trying to iterate and iterate every day, and that's the only point. You need to iterate that way कि जब आप last iteration पे पहुंचते हो तो सब कुछ clear हो जाता है and the right thing gets to your consumer. But that's not gonna happen on the first day. It's gonna take 10 years, 5 years, 4 years, maybe 6 months. Probably कुछ startup के साथ 6 months में हो गया होगा, but probably किसी के साथ 12 साल में भी हो सकता है. For example, Zomato, now 12 or 13 years in running, और मान के चलिए वो कह रहे थे break even last year थे. That's a good thing. Obviously they have grinded for around 11 years to get to that point, and it's really a proud moment for the team. I really congratulate them. So it takes time for people like Zomato जो 10 years आपको लगता है, even consumer side से आप देखोगे तो ऐसा लगेगा कि oh my goodness, they're providing 50% off every day for last 10 years. And consumers को क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है कि कोई startup पैसा बना रही है कि नहीं बना रही है. But in the end, you know you need to make money because there's a commitment to your VC, there's a commitment to your founders, there's a commitment to your angel investors. There's a commitment to your employees, and there's a commitment to yourself, and that's the point. So when you're 15 to 25, don't think about it कि it's gonna be hard. वैसे भी घुसने के बाद hard होगा, पहले नहीं होने वाला. और obviously लोग सोचते हैं कि starting up, just start करना ही सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम होने वाली है. But trust me, start करना सबसे ज़्यादा easy रहेगा. इस चीज़ को कंटिन्यू रखना for years to get to a point where you can say now this is successful, or just a word, successful is just a word, and that's the point. आप इतना दूर आएंगे वही बड़ी बात है. अब पॉइंट है इतने दूर आने का ही, क्योंकि जब स्टार्टिंग फेस होगा आपको लगेगा ये तो सबसे बड़ा स्टेप हमने ले लिया. You're wrong. The true thing is you get into it, you hire a lawyer, you make a private limited company, you make a first MVP, you iterate for 10 times, 11 times, 12 to 20 times, 100 times, you do it for 1000 times. But in the end, आपको continue करते रहना है. It's not a thing that एक दिन में होने वाला है. It's gonna take around 10,000 hours. This is a line from Sanjeeva Shivesh. I'm a big fan of him because I went to a conclave or just a meeting at one co-work at Connaught Place where he was there, and he told us about this thing. Anything is just not a successful thing until you put your 10,000 hours in it. So just a number. If you want to know yourself, you want to test yourself, just put in that 10,000 hours and then ask whether you are successful or not. I think when you put that 10,000 hours, and as said by Sanjeev Shivesh, I think you will be successful, and then you can hop on to that success again and make things larger than that. Now coming to 25 to 35, most of the people are working, like I said, in LinkedIn almost 90% of the people are working at that age, and a lot of people are making side hustles as well. And there are a lot of examples you can go through LinkedIn that people are actually working in a startup or actually working in an MNC and does something in the side hustle. Startup is just not a company that you make a private limited company. It can be something you do in a side hustle as well. Just like this, a video is a side hustle. I'm doing this as a side hustle. You can provide value to others. If it works, obviously you can make money out of it. If not, you can make value out of it, and value is always greater than the money in a longer cases. Obviously in short term cases, for example, I need money at this moment, but in longer cases I need value from you, and that is really much more helpful than the money, because the value I create from whatever I do right now, and if I don't make money that much, it will create money after 10 years, 5 years, 4 years. So it's just a game of patience. It is a game of where you can get to a point where the breaking point से just पहले कितनी कहानी आप सुनोगे, जब आप जाओगे योर स्टोरी पे, जब आप जाओगे ऐसे बहुत सारे प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे जहाँ पे स्टार्टअप स्टोरीज आती है. People get funded, people get break even, people get profits just the day before they were to quit. And that's the thing. Winners never quit, and quitters never win. And that's the breaking point. You don't need to quit. Put in those hours, put in those time, put in that intuition. जो भी intuition आ रही है, gut feeling जो भी आपको आ रही है, just do it. Nobody's listening to you, I guess. Nobody's listening. Don't complain about it. There will be things, problems होंगी. Nobody's listening to those problems. आप कह रहे हो कि family का issue, nobody is listening. You got to get there and execute. That's the solution. If there is a problem, there is a solution to it, and you know it is through it. You have to go through it. And now moving on to 35 to 45. Well, I'm not at that age. Obviously my mindset वैसा सोच नहीं सकता. But obviously for someone who is in 40s, he has a slight advantage, I would say. But they will be saying this thing कि now they don't have time because 20 years चले गए हैं, अब ज़्यादा साल नहीं बचा है. But you have fucking 50 years in front of you. If not 50, you got 40. If not 40, you got 30 at least. And that's a whole new life at this age. I'm 25, and if I get 30 years more, it's like adding another life to my age. And someone who is complaining at 40 कि now you can't start because there is no time. If you might have the money because you have already saved for 20 years. You might have good friends now. You might have good circle, but who can invest in your idea because people now trust you. They know you. They've been working around you. You've been working around them. But now you would complain about time. For God's sake, there are 30 fucking years in front of you. You can make most of it, because it's like adding age to my age. And obviously if I can say this, you can do this podcast as well, you can do this video blog as well, and you can say just only 50 people are listening to you, just only 100 people are good enough to they're actually seeing you on this video and they're saying they appreciate you for this. But in the end, even those 50, even those 100 count, because from 50 it makes 100, from 100 it makes 1 lakh, and from 1 lakh it makes crores. Not rupees, it may be your viewers, it may be just a value that is worth or even close to that 1 lakh. And that's a real deal. It doesn't matter, there's no age limit. Starting up at any age is a good thing, whether it's a side hustle, whether it's just your full-time thing, or whether just this podcast or this video blogging or anything else you want to start. Just turn your passion into something that makes value and gives value back to you. And by this, I would say this was my first take on this podcast, and I hope I make an impact to your ears, to your heart with this podcast, with my opinions, plain fucking opinions on starting up. And it doesn't have any age barrier, it doesn't have any complaining, it doesn't have anything to do with it. It's just plain execution. It doesn't matter how many resources you have or you don't have resources. It doesn't fucking matter. What it matters is the execution, and it's your grind, it's your patience. Till 10 years, till 20 years, it doesn't matter. You gotta start up, and that's the bottom line. So this is the end of this podcast, and I hope you liked it. If you're on LinkedIn, obviously you can drop in comment whether you like it or not, or you can add some value to it. or your 90 cents, 50 cents will work. Whether you're on Facebook, obviously a lot of friends are there on Facebook, they will say what are you doing, but if you think this is something that you like, give me a thumbs up over there, or just put a comment in the comment section. And on YouTube, obviously there are a lot of YouTubers who will come, a lot of people will see this thing, and you should also subscribe to this channel, because I'm gonna post everything from now onwards over the years, each and every day, and that's quite a challenge for me. Your support is very necessary to me to do this thing. And obviously if you get inspired, if you get anything like that, if it really makes 1% difference to your life, or even 0.1% difference to your life, just do, just execute. And that's my only message. Thank you.